this is an unplanned live. I thought I'd come and talk to all of you for a little bit. I'm trying to fix my hair. Okay, so I get questions on and off throughout the year, and I just kind of set them aside, and I really don't address them very much. But I figured I would go live and address some questions that I've gotten over the last, I guess, in 2024. So here's nothing, right? Anyways, I'm Stephanie Grams, CEO and founder of the Keepsake Business Academy.com and Master Memory Bear and Keepsake Designer at OhioMemoryBears.com. So some of the Q&A, I'm just going to go ahead and go through those. No real order for anything. And I had to look at my notes so I stay on track. Okay, so question number 1 falls under the category of getting started in keepsake sewing. So the question was, what exactly is a keepsake sewing business? And I think that there's some confusion on the terms, and I've done classes on different terms we use in the keepsake industry, but to keep it simple tonight, I'm just going to share this part with you. A keepsake sewing business involves creating meaningful custom products like memory bears, quilts, and other items. They are using sentimental materials provided by the client, such as clothing, blankets, or other fabric that holds special memories. You'll see on my channel, I do like a quick recap of orders that I've done over the years, right? And sometimes you'll see items that are obviously made from fabric, like from a bolt of fabric versus clothes. And that's because my customers find comfort or sentiment with fabric from a bolt. And each story is different. I had one bear created in memory. So a customer reached out. She has 2 brothers. One died while he was in college due to an issue accident. I can't say certain words online. Then a few years after that, she had a younger brother who was lost his life due to a car accident. And she wanted one bear created in memory of both brothers. And so I asked what type of fabric. I asked for the story of the brothers. What did they like? What did she remember about them? Things like that. So half of the bear is made out of fabric with his college logo on it, and the other half of the bear was made with farming material, with depicted farms like tractors and so forth, because he was into farming. So the one bear had both brothers as in memory of type of bear. So don't think that you won't have unique requests when it comes to a keepsake sewing business. I would just be prepared. If you are a student at the Keepsake Business Academy, reach out to me and I can help you come up with some designs. I do design work for others, so if that's something that you need help with design, please reach out to me. If you're a student, it's pretty easy to do. All right, question number 2. How do I know if I'm ready to start a keepsake business? And there's not really a right or wrong. Well, I guess there is a right or wrong answer to this. First of all, you need to be confident in your sewing skills. But before you're even confident in your sewing skills, make sure that you know how to sew the pattern of the product you're trying to sell. Not all memory bears are the same, correct? We have dozens, maybe hundreds, maybe 1,000 different types of memory bears or teddy bear patterns available to us as keepsake designers, or as keepsake makers. So really know the design that you want to focus on and stick with it. Get really good at it. So how do you know if you're ready? You have an eye for detail. You're ready to connect with people on an emotional level. and you are confident in your sewing skills, that's a really good place to start. Now, we talk about the whole business side in depth, in order, in the academy. So just the very basics though: sewing skills, eye for detail, and you're ready to connect with people. Okay, question number 3. What's the first product you recommend making when starting out? Well, Memory Bear is a great place to start. But if you're not really sure that you can make a memory bear, hopefully you can. But if you can't, there are dozens and dozens of other keepsake ideas that you can make. I give you I don't even know how many's on the list. A huge list in the academy on that. So know what your customers want. Who are you sewing for? Start there. Start with that. Okay, so number 4. Question number 4. Oh, no. Okay, so we're on to a category of business basics, which is question number 4. How do I set my prices for keepsake items? Okay, so it depends on the keepsake that you're making. If you're going to make a basic memory bear, and I could probably get one to show you here in a minute. If you're making a basic memory bear, the 18-inch one that everybody seems to make for the most part, you need to know how long it's going to take you to make that. If it's going to take you more than 3 hours from design, cut, stitch, stuff, and finish, you might want to pick a different pattern or get really, really good, because you're charging, if you're charging by the hour, you need to decide how much per hour you're worth. Are you worth $12 an hour, $20 an hour, $50 an hour? Pretty soon you're going to be priced so high that you won't have a customer. So you really need to know your product, know how long it takes you to make it, from designing, stabilizing, cutting, stuffing, and stitching up, all of it. Know how long it takes for you to do that. Then you can add it up. So pricing needs to involve your hourly rate, okay, because you are the seamstress, you're the designer, so you need to be paid. And then you need to know what's happening. What else? Do you have to add fabric to that? You need thread, needles, you have the wear and tear on your machine, right? Electricity, what else? Special glue. Are you using an embroidery machine? What else do you need for your business? What are you using to create that customer's product? So I can't give you a clear amount to charge. There is ways to do this, and it's just not an easy answer to say, oh, charge $50, right? There's more to it than that. All right, and I see a lot in groups where individuals are saying, what do you charge? How much are you charging? How did you come up with charging? It's very personal. Pricing your services is very personal. You're doing yourself a disservice by trying to copy other people, because you aren't them. You don't know their secrets to making $50 work for that product, or $100 to work for that product. You really don't know what is going into that product. So wasting your time asking everybody else what they charge is not going to do you any good. That's not going to help you become a business owner. If you're a hobbyist and this is just a side hustle and not really a business, then that's fine. But if this is truly going to be your business, this is your focus, jumping around in these groups asking these questions is not going to do you any good. You're wasting your time. Okay, question number 5. Do I need any special licenses or insurance to start this type of business? Okay, so disclaimer, I don't give tax advice or legal advice. I do share what I know with you. And the answer is, it depends on where you live. I know that sounds terrible, right? But it does. It depends on where you live. What are the rules and regulations, policies, etc., in the state or country, town where you live? What is required of you? If you are a business owner, there are some legal and tax issues that you need to address. So, in most cases, you do need a business license. You might need a tax vendor license. And as far as insurance, I highly recommend that you have at least liability. And again, this is something we can talk about in private if you're a student. All right. Number 6, how do I manage difficult customer requests? Okay, this one can be unnerving, I guess the word is, sometimes, because you don't really want to turn somebody away, but I can guarantee you there's going to be an issue at least once in your business where you are not going to accept a customer, and you don't have to accept every single customer that comes to you. I've seen this in a lot of my new students where they are new to sewing as a business. I should clarify that. New to sewing as a business owner, students. They feel like they have to take every order, and that is not going to do you any good, and it's not going to be helpful to the customer either. This is why you need to know your skills. What is your comfort level? For me, I will not make a weighted stuffed animal. I have done that. I do not enjoy that. I do not want to mess with the shipping of that. There are other designers who make beautiful weighted keepsakes. I'm not one of them. I can design it for you to make, but I'm not going to make it and use the weighted little poly pellets and things like that. I'm not into it. And so I turn those away or by referring them to somebody else. Okay, so this is why it's really important to set clear expectations in the beginning. Now, if you've been a sewing business owner for a while and you're just now really getting into keepsakes, you can't approach this business like you do if you are used to making t-shirts or anything other than a keepsake. Okay, so keepsake industry is very, very unique. It is very, very needed, and this is where I teach you why, right? Okay, the next category of questions is connecting with clients. Okay, I get this question all the time, and I think I can't give you a straight answer other than, here's the question first. How do I find customers for a keepsake sewing business? Okay, if you are doing things right, the customer almost always finds you. You don't have to actually go looking for them. Now, don't get hung up on what I just said. Word of mouth picks up really quick for us. If we've done a good job and we have happy customers, they just start coming to you. Now, if you're brand new or you are rebranding and you need a whole new customer base, I gotcha. I know what you're saying. So my suggestion to you would be to make a couple prototypes of the bear, we'll just say bear, right? That you are comfortable making, all right? Offer it as a gift to somebody, like a family member or a friend. Reach out to somebody and say, hey, I'm starting this business and I want to gift you a memory bear made from 2 of your t-shirts or whatever it is you're doing, baby clothes, it doesn't matter. Would you like this as a gift in exchange for sharing it on social media and letting everyone know about my new business? I've never heard anybody say they would not do that for the designer, so you can work with that, right? Okay, question number 8. How do I handle emotional clients? All right, the majority of my clients have been emotional, and it is it's very important that you have the listening ear and you have patience. You almost need to put yourself in their shoes. And not every designer has been in their shoes of having a loved one that passed away in a certain manner. Okay, so for example, I handle many different customers' requests, right? I have grandparents, children, parents, siblings, but two of the most difficult are born asleep babies and children, right? So sorry for saying so much. If you cannot handle the passing of a child, do not advertise your services for such, okay? You can focus your business on creating college keepsakes. That's one thing that I do. That's one of my businesses, is college keepsakes. I get college t-shirts and turn them into t-shirt quilts. I get college graduation robes, turn it into a keepsake. Just know who your customer is, but you have to know who you are first. So always start with knowing what you're comfortable with, what your skill is. Look at your natural connections around you. Who are you connected to right now? Whatever you're comfortable with, that's going to show through your work, and that's really who you will start to attract in your business, okay? Okay, let's see here. Number 9, what's the best way to present finished keepsakes to clients? Packaging matters. Please don't throw the finished product in a cardboard box and ship it that way. Please don't do that. I take all my keepsakes, whatever it is I'm making, and I put it in a clear cellophane bag. You know, like the big bags that you can put gift baskets in, one of those. You don't need shrink wrap ones. I don't think I have one laying here, do I? Maybe I do. Okay, so this is a medium-sized one that I use for smaller keepsakes, but it's a self-healing bag. You can see I put the keepsake in here. Now, obviously, it's a nice bag. I'm not going to give them this crinkled one. This is just for an example. Make sure your bags are nice and in pristine manner. Put your keepsake in there. You can put some white tissue paper. I highly recommend to stay away from colors of tissue paper. Please. The reason why color dyed tissue paper, if it gets wet, it can bleed onto the fabric of your keepsake. And guess what? Somebody is not going to be happy. So if you stick with white tissue paper, you should be fine. I put a really cute bow. I tie the bag shut. I put a bow on it. I put their little thank yous out in there. So think of packaging. Brand it to your business. Don't be asking everybody else what they do, because it doesn't matter what anybody else does. It's not, their business is their business and your business is your business. I did a whole video training on claim your space and stay in your own lane, and that's not because I'm mean or rude or anything else. It's because in this business, you really need to know who you are, who you're serving, and how to stay in your own lane. Stay focused. Build your business. Don't worry about everybody else, because as soon as you start worrying about everybody else, you lose sight of who you are and who you're trying to help. Okay, so enough of that lecture. Okay, alrighty. So what else? The next category is growing your business. Now, if you don't even have the foundation set, growing your business is not going to do any good for you. We talk about starting, branding, growing, and expanding, all of that in the KeepsakeBusinessAcademy.com. I can't stress that enough to you. If you're watching this and you like what you're hearing, I guarantee you want to save your time, save your sanity. Go join KeepsakeBusinessAcademy.com and get your business on the right foot. But growing your business, okay, which is question number 10. How can I stand out in a crowded market? Okay, so it's not a crowded market. It feels like it's a crowded market because when you go on and do a search for something, you know what to search for, right? You know what terms you're looking for. You're looking for memory bears made near me, memory bears made in a zip code, memory bears made in Ohio, whatever. You know what to look for online, so that of course it's naturally going to feel crowded to you, but it's not. Your customer base needs to know who you are and how to contact you, and that is a huge hurdle to come through, to get through, I should say, in any industry, but especially our industry. Okay, number 11, should I offer products besides memory bears? Again, it depends on you. What do you want in your business? What do you like to make? How creative are you? What are you comfortable with? How do you see your business in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter? How do you see you as a business owner? Only you can answer that question. Number 12, how do I balance creating keepsakes with managing the business side? Okay, so we do talk about this in the academy. The business side cannot be shrugged under the rug. You can't put it aside. You can't forget about it. And in one word, be organized. Okay, 2 words, be organized. Organization. That's how you manage the business side of the keepsakes. So that is so important. Legal wise, taxes, your sanity, you have to be organized. All right, and then here's some personal questions that were asked of me. So I will share those with you. Okay, says Stephanie, what inspired you to start a keepsake sewing business? So my journey started when I was around 7 years old, when my grandma taught me how to sew fabric yo-yos. Those little circles with the little gathering and you can make butterflies out of and things like that. I literally was underfoot of my mom and my paternal grandma. They're talented. Well, grandma was. She's been in heaven for quite a while now. Very talented seamstresses. My grandma made almost all of her own clothes, including her underclothes. She used brown paper bags from the grocery store to draft out her patterns. And I was underneath the dining room table watching her press the foot, the pedal of the sewing machine, and listening to my mom and grandma talk about measurements. And I was about 7. I might have even been younger than that. But I think I was underfoot long enough for them to say, okay, we've got to do something with her because she's driving us crazy. No, really, I probably could have gotten hurt being down there with pens dropping, scissors are sharp, things like that. So I'll be 50 this year. This is January, what is this? January 8th, 2025. So I will be 50 this year. Lord willing, and the creek don't dry. I think that's what my mom says. I fell in love with sewing, but through life, sometimes things that you like get pushed aside because life happens. And so it wasn't again until I was pregnant at 16 and at home, sick. I was actually kicked out of school for getting pregnant. And that was in the early 90s. And they told my parents, if your daughter continues with this pregnancy, then she cannot walk the halls of this public school. So, of course, I was keeping my child, and I became homeschooled, right? I literally had to legally drop out of school. That was not an easy decision for me or my parents. Hold on, I need a drink of tea. But when you don't have another choice, right? You aren't allowed to walk the halls being pregnant, then you be pregnant at home. And so at that time, I needed an outlet. I needed something that was going to be my friend. I had lost all, friends, except for one. and her name is Tiffany, and she's been a dear to me all 32 years, because my oldest daughter now is 32 years old. And so my mom took me to Joanne Fabrics, and she said, what do you want to sew? And I knew sewing clothes was not my talent. I tried. I've made children's clothes. It's just not me. I'm so bored making clothes. So I picked up the needle and thread and bought a panel with some quilt batting and started hand slow stitching, is what they call it today, is slow stitching pillow fronts and making homemade pillows. And so from there I went on and got married, went to college. I did graduate high school with my GED before my actual senior peers. I graduated before my peers. Went on to college and graduated college, was married for 20 years. My ex-husband of 20 years, and I had 6 children. Out of those 6 children, I lost one child to a miscarriage, and I lost another child, Hannah Grace, when she was 14 months old, very unexpectedly. And that was Thanksgiving of 2001, when she was 14 months old and passed away. In between all of those years, I started making curtains. I loved designing and sewing curtains. I didn't have the best sewing machine. It got clunky. I just didn't have the money to fix it. And so, in between raising children and dealing with the loss of 2 children, and then the loss of the ending of my first marriage, sewing was on the back burner. I would occasionally sew. I shouldn't say occasionally. I should give myself some credit here. I did have a company called Sweet Tater Primitives, where I made one-of-a-kind art dolls. So I should give myself some credit. I did that for many, many years, like a dozen years at least, between college and raising children. So I shouldn't just shrug it off, because that was a large portion of income for me with my children and raising them. So fast forward to 2015, and I took a picture and posted it on Facebook of me making a bumblebee art doll. It was custom made for a Mary Kay consultant who wanted a queen bee art doll made. From that post, from just me posting that picture, a complete stranger somehow saw me post that picture. We weren't even connected. We weren't even friends, but she saw that picture. She reached out and asked me to make memory bears out of the overalls from her grandfather's overalls for her and 4 of her siblings. I didn't know what a memory bear was. I didn't know anything about the keepsake industry. I knew about the funeral home industry, and I knew that when someone you loved died, you got a bookmark made from the newspaper or the obituary, right? That's all I knew. That's it. We didn't have the internet like we have now. We certainly didn't have social media. I'm telling you, not like we do now. And so in 2015, when this stranger reached out to me, I was like, you know what? That's it. That's what the Lord wants me to do. So at that point in time, I closed, or basically retired from the online business management business that I had for 15 years. And I temporarily stepped away from the Sweet Tater Primitives design business that I had. And I've been full force, head first, fully in to the keepsake business industry. Now, I have learned a lot over these last several years. This will actually be my 10th anniversary this year, and I think it's in March. I'll have to go back through my timeline and actually see when she, April, if you're watching, love you, thank you, reached out to me for that. So that is how we got here today. Okay, question 15. Do you have any advice for someone nervous about starting their business? Trust your skills. Trust the process. Know your purpose. Know what you're good at. What are you comfortable with? Reach out. Join KeepsakeBusinessAcademy.com, because that's where you get all the information you need. you should, if you follow the whole course, if you go through the whole course, you should be on your feet. You should have your foundation already firmly made. You should have a whole roadmap of what you're doing, even by the quarter. All of that should be done in your hands. So, you know, I want to thank you for sticking around with me. I've been talking live for about 30 minutes. And thanks. And I think that, let me see, report and hate speech. There we go. Okay, so I reported them. So next time I might have to have a moderator on here. But thank you so much for being here, for having fun with me, and going over some Q&A that I collected in 2024, and some that I collected. Well, one of them came from January of this year, so most of them were from last year. All right, guys, it's Stephanie Grams, Grams, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, guys. Remove.